So you say that you recently discovered your negative motivator. Why don't we dig deeper into what can be your positive motivator?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Yes.
Before we step into that, I have a question for you, and this question I got it from a therapist that I met like 3 years ago or something. It was a networking event, and he made an intro for like a startup pitching competition, and he talked about like how the personal stories influence people, the founders, to start their companies, and every startup has its own life story into that, and that,
Right.
and I just went up to talk to him. I'm like, hey, so what do you do? I really like your intro and everything. And it's like, he's a therapist or a psychologist. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was he?
Psychotherapist.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
So I asked him, so at the time I was having like a personal crisis. I was like, hey, how can I be happy? Like, I'm never satisfied with what I'm doing. I'm very ambitious. I'm very hungry. Let's say if I, for some reason, I become the president of Ecuador in the next decade or so, I will still be seeking for more.
Right.
So a better example would be like, if I become the mayor, I'll be like, I want to become the president, and I will never be happy, even at the moment when I elected as a mayor. It's like, okay, now I need to aim for something higher. I need to do something better. I'm
Right.
never happy. I'm never satisfied. I was so lost in my life because I didn't even know why I decided to study business. It's like I just chose it again because of my parents, my relative. I'm like, what am I doing? And how can I truly be present in the moment and be happy? So he asked me these questions, and I want to ask you. So, if your past self from what does the past Tom of 5 years ago think of the present Tom? You can tell me all your story. What is he proud of? What have your present self achieved that past Tom will be like, holy shit, that's my man. That's my hero.
I think that my past self will be very, very proud that I have become such a confident person, a person who can converse well and speak properly. Because my past self, even like my past self 5 years ago, that would mean me in the 11th grade as part of the international baccalaureate program. During that time, I had different hobbies, but then like I think the past myself self would be proud of being a better speaker, and I would say by being wiser, and wiser than my past self was, a better listener, and a person who can think for himself.
I want to put it on one point. I feel like one thing that your past self will be so impressed and amazed about your present self is the fact that you are dancing now. You started taking hip hop classes. You are much more confident with your body language, with your own body as well. Since dancing, you have to like look at how you move and everything.
Yes, totally, yes.
So at the beginning, I guess it was awkward as fuck, right?
Very awkward, yeah.
I don't even do hip hop dance, and I'll be like, oh shit, if I step into that, I'll be like afraid, scared, But I think like you have gained a lot of confidence through dancing, and I feel like that's something that your past self would have never thought of that you could achieve. And I think
Yes, yeah.
because from the brief history of you that I know, it's like you like to play piano, you like to sing, but you never step into this zone of like engaging your body and showing it.
Yeah.
I guess you weren't that confident on it, and I feel like your past self would be so proud of you of that specific thing from what I see.
That is a very good point too, because like my hobby back then was basketball, but basketball was more like because my friends did it, and then like basketball compared to dance, both of them are fun, but like I think what dance really helped me was like helped me a lot with my confidence in a way that basketball does not. Partly because I am a support player. I know, like, because in basketball, you're a part of a team. You're part of like a bigger group. I used to love Kevin Durant and LeBron.
That's so conflicting. It's like a yin and yang.
Uh,
It's either you like LeBron or you like Kevin Durant. You know.
yeah.
No, but I get where he's coming from.
This was when LeBron had his full team in Miami Heat. LeBron, Wade, Bosh, Charmer, and then the Thunders had everyone from Westbrook, Harden, Cephalosha,
And the Miami Heat
Perkins, and Durant. Yeah,
and the Heat beat the Thunder.
yeah. That was like
unfortunately.
the peak of my basketball fan. But like, yeah, like basketball didn't give me as much confidence in myself.
I think,
to dance.
as you
Yeah,
say, because you were a part of a team, you were a support role. But now that you're dancing, you're like the main shit of your own show. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's a very good way to report it, because like in basketball, you're responsible to many things. Your team, your captain, the hoop. You gotta defend the hoop and score the hoop. But in dance, you're responsible. Like, okay, you're responsible as a learner, but then like that's. Then at the end result, when you're finally performing the last set, like the last repeats, the last reps, that's on you. And then when you do good, like it feels really good when you kill it, and like, oh yes. That's a very good way to put it. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah.
So how you feel right now? If past Tom was here looking at you, and he's saying like he's proud of you, he's happy of what you're accomplished. So how do you feel now? Like what from deep inside you?
I will feel very excited. I'd feel very warm that like my past self accepts me for who I am now, because in the past I had like a different set of like my wants, because I was supposed to continue my family business, but I did not. Now I'm able to do this many things. Like when my past self says you did a great job, keep working, I'll feel like really good. One, but then I would work harder because I know that someone, but then
It's looking up to you.
Yeah, I believe I'd work harder because someone looks up to me, and even more so because that someone who looks up to me is my past self.
Yeah.
My past self.
So now grasp that feeling, and why don't we duplicate that feeling with copy that feeling and put it, instead of your present self and your past self, put it in your present self and your future self.
Put it in my present self and my future self.
Yeah, so you want your future self feel the same way that your present self is feeling now. Warm, happy that somebody's looking up to him. You know?
Yeah.
Grasp that feeling and and think about the stuff, or picture your future self. Where is he? What he's doing now? Anything, and put in effort to do all those things that your future self will have the same feeling that you have right now. You want your future self to be happy, content, satisfied of what your present self has helped throughout all those years, process, hard work, grind. You went through all that to get to your future self. And I think that goes back to the analogy of being like the 5 years from the future self of you from 5 years from now is your hero, is your role model. You gotta look up to him, and he's gonna look back at your present self, and say like, hey Tom, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for your hard work. You made what I am today. And I feel like that's the most positive way of looking into that that statement that you said, like you're responsible for you and you, right? Instead of just, oh, I didn't do shit, and just beating yourself up for nothing. I feel like that's a way better way to looking into it. Right. Oh yeah. Last thing, the therapist also said one last thing besides from that, like, you know, in the same way you need to replicate that feeling with the future self. When the journey that you're gonna endure or take from your present self to your future self, it's gonna be hard, but always hard and long probably, but always enjoy the process. And that enjoying the process part is where you get to be present and happy of what you're doing. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm gonna, like, for me, right, I know I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna accomplish things, I'm gonna be successful, but I always go back to the feeling, to the thought when I'm feeling anxious, like, okay, enjoy the process, relive a little bit, give yourself a break, go out for dinner with your friends, or go party with your friends, or do anything, you know. Obviously get your work done, like, you know, work hard, play hard, but always having that thought of like, enjoy the process and be happy at the moment, be present, because that happiness, at least for me, it's so hard to kind of like invoke.
Just really happy about
Your
our discussion. Yeah.
Was there anything on your mind that you wanted to add?
I feel like I'm realizing that, like, from like how you pointed out, like, positive motivators and negative motivators, and I thought about it, and then like, I'm hard on myself in a way when I don't do things that I expect myself to do.
Me too. Me too. When I'm wasting time doing some random shit, watching YouTube videos and stuff, I beat myself up afterwards, and then I don't know, I feel sad, I feel angry, and I don't want to do anything else. It's just a vicious cycle. But you have to find a way to break through that,
Right.
and the only way to do that, at least for me, is to kind of like tuning into those feelings, into that positive motivator that you have, and be like, okay, yeah, let's do some shit, you know, let's make shit happen. So yeah.
Just really glad, like, how deep our conversations can be.
Yeah, man, I'm really truly enjoying this podcast.